Here we go, sir.
Do I get the creepy nod too?
I can give you the nod.
I like the nod.
Yeah.
That nod's got some gravy on it,
That
let me
wasn't
tell
creepy
you.
enough.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night, differentiated from every other night of the week by the fact that it's called Wednesday. My name is Michael, and apparently I'm into not particularly clever wordplay. Before we get into this Isle of Endless Fog multi-shot, we'll call it a multi-shot adventure we're going through right now, courtesy of several friends of the stream, which I'll let Dave get into the specifics at some point, because I think we're going to have to talk about that here in a bit. But thankfully, I don't have to, because I would probably muck that up. Glad you're here. Glad we're here. I know it's been a long week since last week, and everyone's just been dying to think through the nightmares that happened after last night's session, or last week's session. Last night's session didn't happen. That's a completely different story. The important part is I need to stop talking for a second, so I'm going to make other people talk. We're going to start by going clockwise around the display as shown in Twitch, to let people introduce themselves, talk about where they at, and say as much of their character as they want, which means we're starting with the Kirk.
I am the Kirk. I am playing Tethros of Griff, a Goliath rune knight fighter, who is very nice and has an old friend he carries around and a small desire to eat a goat.
It's
I don't know if I
a
call it
small desire.
Constant desire.
There's nothing small about that.
You know what? The one
true.
good thing about that is that he doesn't have any desire to eat the rest of us, so that's fine. If the goat distracts him,
it's all about intensity.
Yeah,
it is a small desire, but it is very intense.
Yikes!
Hello, it's me, Chad, and my guys as Chad. I'm playing Rayhan Aktuna. Soul knife, soul blade. I don't know. I have psychic powers. I wield mystical blades of the mind. I'm happy to be here. It's my Friday. Yeehaw.
Hey, happy Friday!
Thank you.
Happy Friday, my friend.
That's fantastic news.
It is.
Dave, is it your Friday?
It's my Friday as well, but I've got even more fantastic news than that. Tonight, my friends, I am reprising my role as Zalnikis Milnion, a Circle of the Stars druid out of Tasha's, because I've always wanted to play one. And so far, what is this? Our fourth session in Michael's game, and I'm pretty impressed with this circle. So excited to see what else happens and what other things I can get into. Very excited, and yeah, thanks for doing this, Michael. Appreciate your sitting in the DM's chair.
This is now the DM chair. Watch as it rocks back and forth like I'm a bad Star Trek episode. Quick, Andy, save me from my terrible bit here.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Andy. I'm playing Grayforest Zebulon Odonaghue, human 4th level College of Eloquence bard, which means he talks real nice, but he doesn't get to do much of that because there's undead skeletons wandering everywhere he goes. So he might try to charm one of them at some point.
Ooh.
To probably horrible results.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley. I'm Minnesota Muse on Twitch, and I am playing Orcanna Bone Crusher tonight. She is a barbarian, path of the Ancestral Guardian, level 4. She's a half-orc, and she has an emotional support goat.
A talking emotional support goat.
Delicious.
Very
you
important.
You can't eat the talking animals. Like, what if they ran around Narnia and were just like eating up like all the talking Narnia animals.
Funny story. That's in the
Wrong.
cliff notes. They just didn't really get into it for the original text. But that's not what's important right now. What's important right now is some announcements.
Oh
Dave?
yeah, we do have announcements, guys. This is pretty rad. I was chit-chatting today over the Discords with Christian from CZRPG, our benevolent campaign and Wednesday night stream sponsors. They've been with us for a long, long time. I think they started on with us sometime during the third season of Beyond Saltmarsh. But they've been with us pretty much since we started streaming. Really appreciate you all for doing that, Christian and the team over at CZRPG Publishing. Christian, by the way, was also involved with Jack in developing the content that we're playing in right now, the Isle of Endless Fog. So that's pretty cool. We're getting a chance to run around inside their brains, which is kind of creepy. But tonight, we got a little something different. We got a different giveaway tonight. Christian has donated a treasure trove of content for us. It's called the Ultimate Encounters Bundle, and I'm looking at it on the DM's guild here, and it is if you were going to buy this, it's going to be, well, right now it's $52, but normally it's priced at $88, which is
Wow.
which is pretty, I mean, this is pretty darn generous of him to do. Let me just CZRPG dash guild.
What a steal.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. So listen to this. It's got the following titles bundled into it. These are all like encounters, right? So Deeper Descent into Avernus, Encounters in Barovia, Encounters in Candlekeep, Encounters in Castle Ravenloft, Encounters in Chult, Encounters in Icewind Dale. That's 6. Encounters in Ravenloft, Encounters in Saltmarsh. We had a few of those. Encounters in the Feywild, Encounters with the Dark Powers. I've actually used that one in my Strahd campaign. And the Queen's Horde Expanded. What is that? Was that 8? Was that 9? How many? I don't know what it was. But it amounts to, I'm just going to throw this out there, 11 different encounter products that encompass 170 encounters.
What?
So in order
Wow.
to, it's kind of ridiculous, but you know what? They're generous with their support for our stream, and they're generous with their donations for the giveaways. Let me just put this in here. If you want to enter to win the Ultimate Encounters Bundle, all you need to do, viewer, is to type !drawing into the chat. And I will go ahead and we will draw. Yeah, we'll monitor that. We're going to draw a winner at the end of the stream. So, yep, thanks for doing that, Kirk, showing folks how it's done. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Stick around, have some fun, watch us play, and we'll draw a winner at the end of the stream. Thanks, Christian.
Dankeschön, meine Freunde. And now for a non-German announcement. Andy, how's your Icelandic?
It's absolutely terrible. How's yours?
Probably just as bad as mine. Then could you tell us, perhaps in a language you're more familiar with, all about the wonderful things in our store?
Well, wouldn't you know it? We got t-shirts, we got sweatshirts, we got wall art, totes, mugs, stickers. Get your merch. Get it at the link.
Merch.
And support your local stream.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad, did you have anything you wanted to tell us about? No? I'm just so used to you having something to say.
So many things.
You don't have to say anything. That's fine. You can tell me, no, Michael, you're crazy, like a crazy person.
That is no.
Wonderful.
I would like to not use that language.
Okay.
You are perfectly okay. However,
I'm a mad lad. Come on.
Incorrect.
Well, in that case, I will announce something that my producers just handed to me. Please meet the producer. Hello.
Whoa.
Aw.
That
The fat cat
the-
behind this whole thing.
Explains so much about our planning, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She's not fat. She's fat.
Run by
But
cats.
for those of you who tune in to our midwinter keening stream, we will not be on tomorrow. We are taking tomorrow night off to celebrate a very important and personal event near and dear to all of us. It's all a separate event for each person. Please invent it and tweet about it tomorrow. # midwinter keening. We will also, of course, be off next week for that American tradition, Thanksgiving, I believe. I am told there is a lot of poultry involved. I'm really excited to see how this festival goes. I believe I have to wear some sort of strange hat while I do it, or maybe a boot. I don't know. They're giving me lessons.
Is
on
this
it.
the overeating one? The holiday where everybody overeats?
My
That's
friend?
every
This is
And then
holiday.
America.
sleeps on the couch?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
every holiday.
You beat
We're
me to it,
Americans,
Ashley.
That's every holiday. Get with the
Love it.
program.
It's beautiful. Any other announcements we have? Ashley or Kirk, you're always so quiet. Is there anything you'd like to announce?
No, I don't. I don't do a lot of stuff other than like this and Thursday. On the webs at the moment.
On the internet, that's fine.
I actually just found something I would like to share.
Then I'm glad I
very
gave you this
excited
time.
about it. Yes. Whilst posting about our game and our giveaway here on Twitter, I of course was apprised of a situation that is happening. There is a giveaway that if you search for Xbox X giveaway, I'm not going to really give you a link because this is of course not sponsored, but there's some new fucking Doctor Who thing coming out, and there is a TARDIS shaped Xbox. If I am taking the promo material correctly, that is happening. I do not want an Xbox, but I want this thing. That's it. That's all I got.
Hey, that is still great. So let's everyone bundle on our kaupa, perhaps making sure our stoker are tightly pulled up beneath our shoes. I apologize, someone literally just handed me a how to say things about clothing in Icelandic, and I started to run away with it. I'm going to stop myself here and pick back up going forward here with the situation on the Isle of Endless Fog. I bring levity to the situation because there's not much levity to be found in the game at this point. As most of you will, of course, remember, our party crash landed onto the Isle of Man, set upon a quest to figure out what the heck is going on and hopefully stop it. A less than perhaps fortuitous beginning, but hey, they found a talking goat, so you can't argue with those results. But they did quickly learn that there was not but fog covering this island, that some of the inhabitants, most of the inhabitants, it appears, have been corrupted by something, probably the fog, and are now the walking dead, which means they're the lucky ones, because things like the wolves and the wildlife they run into, they're still alive and just horrifying, corrupted abominations. And that was before they got to town. They arrived at the beginning of last session at the walls of the town of Ramsey, which they climbed over just in time to escape the approach of something. They're not sure what. Something dark and ominous that seemed to bring the fog with it, a fog that gnawed at the mind and sapped the life force from the limbs. Never fun. They quickly sought refuge in a nearby farm, only to find that there were a few survivors holed up there, who were in desperate need of food and water, which the party generously gave them. They learned a bit about the situation here, about the time, the 8 months that it's been since these things that they call them slua, attacked. Our druid friend may have saved a boy's life out the box with a restoration spell to stabilize his madness. Bless him for that, because it's a dark thing to begin with, and it could have gotten much darker. So kudos to the party for handling that. after assessing things at the farm and, stating their goal, they were given a magic shield, actually, bearing the crest of a fallen ancient house of Aerdy, as a token so that the mayor, who they would find at the school, might know who they were, so they could deliver the news that the mayor's son, the individual who was going mad, was in better condition and see what help they could provide. From there, they managed to, we'll say, scuttle through the fog that was upon the town, avoiding a group of these monsters, also making their way around a flock of undead chickens, something no one wants. Arrived at the school and met with the few survivors there, including at least one giant-blooded individual, making Tethros very happy to make friends. They spoke with these people in the situation they were in, and settled in as best they could for the night to get a rest, armed with some new knowledge of what was going on, but not as much as they'd like. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would wish that someone, and I'm not particularly specific who, someone would roll me a d10. Somebody went for it.
9.
Rayhan gave us a 9. Well, you're all doomed.
Nice.
I'm kidding.
Doom this.
Now, the question I have for you all is, are you keeping watches overnight? My assumption would be yes, but I've been wrong before.
If they're not already doing some kind of watching, then I think I'd suggest it. But I mean, would they really not be watching anymore?
It's an interesting
Civilians.
situation. What you quickly kind of gather is there's not so much a watch schedule, so much as most people aren't sleeping more than an hour or two at a time. Like they sleep, as the sun sets and it gets dark out, some people kind of doze, some stay up, but the people who doze immediately, like after an hour or two, just seem to come awake from nightmares or just open their eyes at a creaking of wood as someone moves around.
Sleep apnea. I'm familiar with this.
Not quite. We hope not, though. We don't think they're diagnosed with that, but it's very possible. In this case, it appears that they don't have watches because they don't really get sleep.
We
Which
should
is-
definitely keep a watch. I'll
I think
volunteer
that
for the
would be a
first
very
one.
good idea.
I'll take the second one.
I'll go third.
I'll go last.
All right. So you guys settle in. They kind of make some space for you guys to put out your bedrolls or tents or what have you near where theirs are towards the back of the school. And they, of course, they go through the motions of settling in and going to sleep. But it's almost as lifeless as if they were in fact the Walking Dead outside when they're doing it. It's just a thing they do to mark the time. So who was first again? Hey,
Zal.
Zeb. Zal, sorry. Zal, not
Different.
Zeb, very different characters.
Yep.
Is there anything you're particularly wanting to do on your watch, or are you just kind of keeping an eye out?
Zal will. This is a 2-story building.
Yes.
He's gonna get a.
It's like a story and a half. Like there's the main floor, and then there's a loft that's maybe half of the size of the main floor.
Does the loft would it have a view of like the front?
Yes.
The front entryway. So he's gonna go up there so he can have a bird's eye view of sort of the approach to the front of the building, and he is going to spend some time with his familiar, which I think was a hawk.
Mm-hmm.
And he will actually at times send the hawk out throughout the night to just kind of fly around the vicinity in case there's any reason to raise the alarm. he will then take note of his supplies, going through his pack, while he, which is very Spartan by way of spices and ingredients for a meal that is well overdue. And that's how he will spend his watch.
Oakley and also Dokely. Is the familiar just kind of on its own? You're not doing the I look through the familiar's eyes
No.
bit?
No.
Just for funsies, would you mind giving me a perception check with disadvantage for your hawk?
All right, so it gets advantage on perception checks that are based on sight, so it would be a straight roll.
In this case, technically yes, because I can't give you double disadvantage.
I mean, you could.
I think that's going to be a 13.
Okay.
Don't do it.
During your watch, and I about called it a crow, but no, it's a hawk.
Mm-hmm.
The hawk does not see anything more alarming than usual. You gather from when you do communicate with it that there are still small roving bands of the Walking Dead just out and about, but
And
none
just
of
for
them.
I was just going to say, just for the record, it is a gray hawk. And also, one thing I would be curious is if there are more undead at night than there are during the day.
For that joke, you get nothing. Nothing. I'm kidding. No, actually, it appears to be roughly the same number. Again, what the hawk noticed, what you guys have also noted is they don't seem particularly mobile in town. Like they just hang out in an area. They aren't like, they're certainly not organized. They're certainly not patrolling. It's
Mall
just,
rats. They're mall rats.
Yeah, basically. Terrified
Alright.
I got that, but here we are. So otherwise, your watch is uneventful.
Got it. And
Who
then I
will you
will
wake?
I will wake up Orcanna.
Is
Hi,
it
girl.
time?
Yes. Yes. It
Okay.
is.
I go and I put on all my stuff because why not? As long as I'm gonna be watching, I'm gonna be armored.
Zal slips into her bed.
Don't
As
you
she
have your
leaves.
own? I mean, I know it's all
No,
warm and cozy,
It's
but
so nice and warm.
weird.
Just
It
an
is.
old man looking for a place to sleep.
It's weird.
Gray agrees with you. He's like, just a little bit.
Cuddle with me, Greg.
I have to go make sure Orcanna is okay for watch. And its square little eyes just shoot side to side and then slowly follows Orcanna.
And I go, yeah, and I wink at Gray.
Gray winks back. It's awkward. It's a goat. Anything specific you're looking to do on watch?
Yeah, I want to see if, I am keeping an eye out for movement of any kind, but I noticed when we were trying to get into the town, there was like almost like a storm that kind of like showed up. So like a denser area of fog or something that looks like a incoming storm kind of thing.
Just keeping an eye out for that?
Yes, as that and all movement.
That and all movement. Are you like looking through the slats in the wood, trying to look out into the night?
Oh yes.
Okay. Well, then roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay. Nine.
Yeah, you don't see shit. It's certainly dark and foggy out there, and there's no light. And that's the one thing you could say. There's certainly no lights. So nothing comes upon you in the night that you note.
Okay.
Okay, it's uneventful. Well, I say uneventful. in the background, there is the constant people kind of snorting awake, sometimes sobbing awake, screaming a little bit maybe and stifling it, rocking back and forth. It's not pleasant by any extent, but it is understandable, predictable. Nothing's coming out of the blue there. It's just, off-putting.
I look at Gray and I say, "This is worst youth hostel ever. Vibe is very bad."
I understood half of that statement. The vibe is off, yo.
Fist pump. Like his little hoof.
Head bump. Nope, head bump. Just
Headbutt.
headbutt.
All right.
It's a goat. Who will you awaken?
Let's see. I believe it was Zeb's said he wanted to go next. So go over to him. Zeb, it is your turn.
What? Oh, okay. Zeb will get up to do his watch.
Hey, Zeb.
Did you say there was like an upstairs with a view?
Yeah, there's an upper loft.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then I'm gonna crawl into Zeb's sleeping bag with Gray, and I'll just be like, "I'm sorry, I'm not going into the other man's sleeping bag. He took mine."
Oh, do you have to bring the
Farts.
goat?
Yes.
All right.
Screw you, Thibodeau. Just curls up next to Orcanna.
It smells better than Zal.
Oh.
Is there anything that Zeb wants to accomplish while he is on watch?
No, he's just gonna write in his journal the events of the day so far, leading, like what led up to them getting here, and while he's keeping watch, he's just gonna journal his moments.
Would you roll me a d10, please?
Sure. Four.
What's your passive perception?
Oh, hold on. 14.
And what's your AC?
15.
Good to know. So later in your shift, you hear shuffling outside, as if some things were moving by the windows below you.
That is strange. I'm gonna go investigate.
Item.
You
Could I go down, like, kind of go towards the sound, but like kind of carefully?
you mean stealth your way towards the sound, perhaps?
Yeah, you said it was on the lower level.
It definitely is, because if we're on the upper level, you'd have much bigger problems.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, so
Zombies
I'm
have
gonna
ladders.
kind of walk carefully downstairs to see if I can kind of investigate the sound.
Stealth.
Stealth roll? Oh yeah,
What is that total?
22.
Well, you're like the wind. You just kind of.
It's a ballista through the chest.
I mean, I did have to ask for his AC for a reason, but that was not the
I'm
reason.
sorry, that was a leaf on the wind. That's a different thing.
You kind of peek out through the slats, buddy, and you see like 3 figures in the dark just slowly meandering past the school.
Keep walking, buddy.
Yeah, they don't look like they're trying to get in or anything.
No,
like
they
that.
do
They're
not.
just kind of shambling around.
Yeah, they're just.
I'll just watch them quietly.
They go by without incident.
So how close were they to Zeb when
Oh,
they
you
went
know,
by?
a foot or two.
Oh. So they didn't notice him?
Well, he's on the inside of a building with slats over the windows.
Right, but like they couldn't like smell him or anything. Like they couldn't sense him there.
Well, as
These
far
kids
as you're
have
aware,
their-
no.
Okay.
Are you trying to get him killed, Ashley, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Quit giving him
I'm
ideas.
I'm
Are you
trying to
sure
figure
they
out
didn't
if you
sneak
don't
up on
move,
him?
They can't see you.
Just let
That
it
was
happen.
That was a
Just let it
22
happen.
stealth.
Wow.
That counts for smell too.
Wow.
He scented himself with undead.
Now, are you sure there's one sneaking up behind Zeb?
I smell immaculate. Thank you very much.
Either way, they move on. Is the point right now?
Everybody knows that zombies
But again,
have an advantage
was-
to scent brute.
I hate everything I just heard. As noted, that was within 2 feet of you. Like if they had turned their head, you were worried you might have locked eyes with them. It's a good stealth roll. Good stealth roll. Anything else you want to do?
No.
All right. Who will you awaken?
Who was next? Rayhan. Rayhan, wake up. Rayhan. I'll give her a little shake.
Yes.
It's your turn for watch.
Uh,
Can I
That's
sleep in your bag when you get out? Can I sleep here? The goat took my bag. The goat took my sleeping bag, and now it smells. I'm sure it smells horrible now.
And in fact, if you look over, the goat is sleep chewing on your bedroll.
Mm. Mm.
You just make eye contact with Zeb. Just long eye contact.
Never mind.
And then climb out of my bag and nod.
Oh, I saw some of those zombies. They wandered past here about half hour ago. So I was just real quiet and they just kept going. So just
I'll
heads
keep
up.
an eye out. And yeah, I'll make rounds. Both levels. I think I'll check perimeter. I'll check exits. Any view of the outside that I can get from any angle, I'll take over my watch.
Would you mind rolling for me? An investigation roll.
Investigation. 18.
You look around. You're doing things. What you notice, and this may be something or maybe nothing, you're not sure. There's a couple of notable holes that don't look like they're necessarily from lack of upkeep. Like there's definitely one shingle missing on the roof up in the rafters that looks like, no, a shingle was removed. Okay. And then like in one of the corners in the floor, there's just a floorboard where like the last 6 inches of it are just removed.
Like jagged or cut?
Cut.
Like
Roughly
like a
cut, like with an
clean- like a-
axe.
Okay.
There's definitely a couple of marks where someone, was getting their stroke down and may have missed a little bit.
I can see here where they were drunk and so their timing wasn't good.
Yes, exactly.
Not
You are.
really.
The Sherlock Holmes of this party.
Nope. Not at all. That's weird. What's under the floorboard?
Looks like you just kind of get real down there and look.
Yep.
It looks like about 6 inches of space and then dirt. And after a second, a mouse scurries by.
So there's not a whole lot of space under there.
No. To be fair, there was a detail I missed that may be related to this. There is definitely a cage in the corner with several rats in it
Mm.
that you found out in passing has been their recent food supply.
School rats, yeah.
Like
so
a
normal.
traditional Scandinavian breakfast.
Yeah. I'm not Scandinavian, so that's weird, but yeah, that's okay. Tell me about this this shingle, the ceiling tile bit.
I mean,
So
it
this
looks like
is
it was just popped off.
and this, like, there's nothing between the outside and the inside in this roof.
Just simple wood shingles.
That's fair.
Zal might have
Um,
noticed this. His hawk did go in and out of it, but Zal didn't question because his hawk hole.
Birds. It's a hawk hole.
It's very common in
Thanks.
this part of the world, you see.
It's where you keep your hawk in your hawk hole.
So convenient.
It's true.
Yeah, it's convenient. Everybody knows that. How big is this space?
You know, it's the size of a shingle from this time and place and technology level. So, you know, it's maybe 16 inches wide, about 18 inches long.
So like a head. You
Yeah.
can put a head
You
in there.
you could, in fact, should you choose to, poke your head out there.
I'm not gonna do that. That seems sketchy. But I'll note it for sure.
All right. Anything else you wish to do on your watch?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Who do you wake?
Tethros? Of
Uh.
Griff.
Hey, Tethros of Griff, would you do me a favor?
Nudge, nudge.
Would you roll
Yes.
me a wisdom save?
Yellow. I am waking you.
I see that.
Zombies and bacon.
19.
19. Wonderful. Continue.
You should get some sleep. Did anything happen on your watch?
I found hole in floor over there and in roof up there. Not significant for body, perhaps head.
Okay. Will you help me pull a little more of this wood off the floor?
Pull wood off floor? Why?
Yeah, we're just gonna put it in the hole on the ceiling so no rain gets in. It could rain.
Sure. Yeah.
So you start tearing up planks.
Just the one that's already been broken up already.
Well, the plank itself is a solid 4 feet long.
Okay. I probably only need
It's
like
been
2 feet of it,
hacked
yeah?
With axe.
Um,
You can see here and here is cut.
Maybe they're using it to get drinking water. I don't know. You should get some sleep, though.
Yes. You watch.
Of course. First thing Tethros wants to do after Rayhan is shooed to bed, is do a brief walk around the perimeter of the building, see if he can get a good vantage point of where he thinks the sun would rise.
Okay.
Which direction?
I would like 2 things from you. One, could you roll me a d10?
I got a 4.
2, could you give me a survival check?
And a 22 on the survival.
Well,
Nice.
there you go. Yeah, that way's east. You know that. You have an amazing internal compass.
Good.
Which, doesn't help you much because of the fog, but you're pretty
Right.
sure that's east. Also,
All right.
there's an actual compass available.
Yeah, but I'm not going to wake up Zal. It's so rare to see him sleeping.
What's weird is Zal looks like he's in much better shape today. He seems a little bit more vital. The figure that's, in his bedroll just seems a bit more handsome and youthful. I can't hear what you said, Andy. You were on mute.
I've read about these things. Sorry if you hear my cat screaming.
Cat screams are what I live for these days.
So as soon as I've figured out which way east is, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna pull my chest up next to me, open it up, pull out a drum, and just slowly tap it a little bit and kind of hum a little tune. And while that's happening, I'm gonna try and coincide it with like the sun coming up, the time that I think the sun would come up, and like hope I'm pretty close. And as the sun does come up, if that we're at that point now, the runes on my cheek will reignite.
You're changing out your runes essentially.
Basically, I'm gonna as the sun comes up, they'll reappear on my cheek, and then I'll re-put them on my items.
Wow.
No, really cool. It's the only way the sun really comes up because it's kind of dark and misty, but that works.
Cool.
While we're getting to this point, would everyone else mind rolling me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh no. $18 for Zal.
19 for
Are you-
Zeb.
10.
12.
I also got a 12.
12's across the board. Hey,
10.
12's across the board. I'm kidding. You're fine. You hit double digits. You're fine. It was not a comfortable night of sleep. This whole situation is awful. Even hearing the unhappy noises of those you're in the building with in your slumber does not fill you with well. But no one comes up screaming or had such terrible nightmares that interrupted their sleep. Good on you guys. Good on you. So everyone gets the benefits of a full rest.
Woo!
Huzzah.
Yeah.
Hit the buttons you
Hooray.
need if you need to hit buttons.
Recharge. New
Yeah.
spells.
Nope.
I didn't use too much. Check my spells.
We'll work on that then.
A level up. Oh, a level up.
No, not yet. Not yet. So it's morning. Everyone is now more or less awake in the school with you, which is to say, the adults eventually put together that it's day, and they slowly wake up the children and start them going through the motions of a morning. They do have water and food that's fresher for the first time in a long time, so everyone gets like a crust of ration bread and a little bit of jerky and a little bit of like dried fruit, and they are all so happy for it. They look much better than they have basically after that, and they're like, ah. So you've done a good thing. The question is, what are you going to do now?
Zal approaches Tethros as he's sort of like pulling himself up from Orcanna's bedroll. Well, big friend, I seem to be in a bit of a bind. I seem to have given away all of my rations to the people. I don't suppose you'd have something for the old man to nibble on, would you?
Yes, I have one more ration.
Oh my, just
You
a
can
bite will
have
do.
it.
No, just a bite will do.
Okay, you can have a bite. If you want two, you should have two.
I'll have
Sure.
a little bit to share.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
I'll give him half of my ration.
Thank you, Zeb. You're a good man.
I'll take a ration out and break it in half and give half to Gray and eat the other half.
Good idea. Keep feeding the goat.
Yes,
You're
well,
saying that 'cause
we've
you want to freak me out.
It'll be easier to get a good meal out of him later if he's well fed.
It's not as
We've-
funny when you say it.
we feed party members. Gray is party member.
I know. He's carrying all our food.
Are you saying Gray is the sandwich?
No, I don't want to waste it by putting him on bread.
I would say I'm uncomfortable about everything being said here, but I've kind of gotten used to it. You're kind of an awful person.
Greg, I just don't trust you. You're a talking goat. And I've been alive a long time and I've never met a talking goat. So I kind of think maybe you'd be better off as a meal.
I do not
Or,
eat things that talk. That is wrong.
I will eat things that try to kill my friends.
Have you actually eaten things that have tried to kill your friends?
Had these lobster claws that I had for like at least 2 weeks. They were delicious. I felt like a king. Every day, lobster for breakfast, lobster for lunch, lobster for dinner, and I never ran out of claw meat for days.
Well, wasn't that a giant crab?
They're the same thing, right?
Oh,
They're
it's a
they're
little
red
different.
they're little red creatures that live in the sea.
That is true.
I'm pretty sure that was some kind of hellspawn too.
Well, it was delicious.
Sounds like it.
It was delicious.
Yeah. I
Well,
give some to
hey,
It
Orcanna,
hell-
tastes
like
good in the end.
You
Orcanna.
ate a hellspawn demon crab?
Only
Let's not
the
want
claws.
Hella
It's all
good.
about how it's prepared.
That doesn't sound smart or tasty. Like, I don't know. Maybe
Have you
the type of thing you chew on and eat and then like eternally binds you to its essence so that it follows you wherever you go.
heard minstrel tale of Ravenous?
I'm a goat.
Is themed.
That
You
part where I
kill-
said it was a goat meant that I did not have heard this.
You
Where did you
kill
learn to
it,
talk?
You take its power.
And just Gray looks Tethros dead in the eye and goes, I met a king and I ate him.
You know, I met a demon hellspawn and I ate him.
Is that why you're so
Oh.
big?
Not yet.
I think that perhaps we should get going and not talking about food and eating each other.
Yes, all
I'm
this
not-
talk of food is making me hungry. Let's move on. We have much to do.
The mayor thanks you again for everything you've done, wishes you the best of luck, and even adds, just even if you just make it off the island alive, if you can't handle it, please just send help.
We'll save you.
We're headed to Douglas, I believe, next, aren't we? What type of journey are we in for, Mayor? Is it dangerous? I mean, aside from the normal things we're looking at here.
The long road before the fog came was the finest, widest, and least rutted road on the island.
Is there a place to stay if we should get waylaid? A place to seek refuge?
No.
No
It's
shit.
a road across the highlands. It goes by the Sisters' Woods. But I'm not sure if running into woods now is the wisest. It does cross a couple of rivers, the Watcher's Sun and the Gale Haunt River. So you could hide under the bridge if you had to.
How
Not a
far
bad
is
idea.
Douglas?
Oh, let me bust out my map and check the distances here. About 20 miles.
Do you want to come with us?
No, my place is here. I want to go see my son, but I need to help these people as well.
Well, what do you say, friends? Greg? Should we get a move on?
Yes, let's go. There is much to do.
There is much to do.
Before we leave, if you are interested, I could cast a spell that would help us sneak about a bit. Perhaps protect us from being detected by those shamblers. If you would like.
Yes, please.
I think that would be great.
I don't think I'll make it very far if they detect me.
You watch as Zal kneels down, opens up a component pouch, and pulls out a bit of burned ashes, and pours them into his palm, and then takes a sprig of spruce, kind of taps it in the ashes, and then sort of like almost anoints you all with the ash. Goes around the group and anoints you, and I just cast Pass Without a Trace. So you all, as long as you're within 30 feet, you will get a +10 to stealth checks. See if we can get out of here.
How
And
long does that last?
For 1 hour, as long as I can maintain concentration.
Let's go.
I'll pick Zal up and put him on the chest that I have
Perfect.
strapped to my back.
All right. So they every
And I'll put Gray up on my shoulder again.
thank you. Your hair smells like lavender and blood.
I will
I know.
pat Zeb on the shoulder.
Yeah. What's up, Rayhan?
Good job.
With what?
Everyone is putting things up. I patted you. Yes,
Are you
it's
saying
good.
Are you saying you'd like me to carry you?
No, that's just silly.
I didn't think so.
I am neither feeble or good.
That is true.
We got standards here.
So
I don't know why you're carrying the goat.
Because goats are very slow.
Are they though?
No, the important part is our giant-blooded companion, the teacher, if you will, actually, not necessarily your companion. Misuse of words there. Kind of goes to the door that's boarded up and like squints through the slats, nods, pulls off a couple of lower ones very quickly so you guys can kind of duck under and get out. And you come out into the morning mist. It is cold and clammy and chills you to the bone immediately.
Oh yeah, this is the stuff.
This is great.
Like
Good
it.
Scottish weather.
It's nice.
Mm.
I'm not sweating.
I imagine from here you will sneak wherever you're going.
Yes.
And where are you going?
South,
south,
to the
right?
gate.
South out of town.
Let's roll some stealth checks.
+10.
+10. That's a 34 for me.
Wow.
18.
19.
27.
For those of you at
17.
home that may or may not be able to see the VTT, because I haven't checked the stream, the rolls without are amazing stealth magic included a 9, an 8, and a 7.
Yep.
So
So good.
again,
It's a great spell.
Pass without a trace.
well played, druids. Well played. You kind of snick your way south. As you come to the intersection, you see another group of the spawn, if you will, kind of meandering around in the intersection. And by a group, I mean 20 or so.
Ugh,
Whoa.
so many.
You guys, just because of your stealth rolls and everything else, you quickly kind of move in to like off around a building, around a couple of buildings, kind of circumvent everything very carefully, and come out on the other side of them with no issues. And after that ends up making it a half hour of creeping through this fog, you find yourself at the gates. The guard tower's kind of looming over you. You see that for a second you think there's a figure leaning on the gate, or not on the gate, on one of the guard towers, until you realize it's the corpse of a guard that is, if you look closely enough, you think it might be pinned in place by a spear or something. But the couple of crows that are nestled in and around him don't seem to take notice of you as the gate itself looms open before you. And out you go into the countryside of the Isle of Man. Now,
Country
thankfully,
roads.
Wow.
country roads
Yep.
take you home.
us south
To the place we belong.
where we belong. Douglas. It's
it's
where
better-
the queen is.
Better than country gnomes. They take your bones places they don't belong, and that's why we don't allow gnomes in this game.
Someday I will play a gnome.
And I
Pure
will be
hips.
terrified.
Good.
Sooner than later.
You make your way down the road, and the mayor was not kidding. Compared to especially what you saw in the more northerly part of the Isle, this is wonderful. It is a wide, well-cut road that it's still maintained, because while obviously no one has used it for 8 months, there's been no sunlight, so nothing has grown up on it. And it's like 10, 12 feet wide, well used. You can walk abreast if you need to. There's occasional trees by it. Excuse me. But as you move out into the day through the fog, for just a moment, you feel less terrified and oppressed by what's happening around you. Until you start occasionally hearing noises out in the fog. And they're normal noises. There's gulls crying occasionally. There's something like a fish jumping in the river next to you that you eventually can see as the river begins to run next to it is there. But every noise seems to be magnified and alien coming out of this fog.
If we see fish, we should stop and try to get some fish.
Well, within literally 200 feet of the gates, there is a river that is running next to this road on your left side, which is the east side.
Let's go a little bit further than like right next to the gate. But as long as it keeps running in tandem for a while, Orcanna will be like, "Oh, I bet there is a fish in this river. Doesn't
Yes.
that sound wonderful?"
Yes.
Delicious.
Yes.
Can you catch them?
Yeah.
Yes, as long as these fish aren't like the wolves.
Oh,
It's possible that water is moving the fog by and they are not affected.
What about crabs? Do you think there's crabs?
I don't think there's any crabs in there.
that reminds me of a story.
Oh,
Back in the
goodness.
day. Well, crabs. Well, maybe I'll keep that one to myself.
Orcanna will get out her javelin after we're a goodly distance away from the village gate. She'll get out her javelin and see if she can like spearfish.
Yeah.
Please roll me a survival check then.
Okay.
You spearfishy.
15.
15. You do. You spear yourself a not sizable trout, but at least a respectable trout.
Nice.
You pull it out, and the first thing you notice is that some of its scales are missing.
I'm gonna like offer it over to Zal and say, "Is this still eatable?"
Let me take a look at it. I'll investigate this beast of nature to see if it looks edible.
Nature, please. Sorry.
All right.
Sometimes we say things in our head and forget we didn't say them out loud.
That will be a 21.
When you look at where the scales are missing, you realize there's that same kind of gray gelatinous quality to the flesh beneath the scales, and it runs further beneath them in kind of striation patterns. And well, you don't think that would be healthsome. You're reasonably certain, with all of your many years of druidry under your belt, it's probably not good eating.
This fish appears to be tainted, Orcanna. I'm so sorry. Your
But do you,
effort was
like-
well served, but this is not edible.
Do you have that wizard mojo that purifies food?
I am not a wizard, sadly. I do not.
Oh, all right. And I will very sadly like let it slide off the end of my spear.
And when you do, you realize that it as part of the gray area kind of just becomes gelatinous, and it kind of falls away, and there's kind of that effect almost of like melted cheese, but it's rotting fish smell. Oh, that is
Ugh.
cheese texture and rotting fish smell as it just kind of
Oh, that's gonna stay around. So
hell no.
maybe we don't go in the rivers if they are full of undead fishes.
Let's keep moving. Maybe it's not so bad down the road.
All right.
Orcanna, do you want a bar of soap to wash your spear?
She's like wiping it off on the grass and the dirt. She goes, "No, this is fine." And then she'll like strap it back in.
We should pick up the pace. We should move quicker.
But stealthily,
For
for at least 1 hour.
Okay.
Then we can sprint.
And then we'll sprint. We'll run.
then you
not
will sprint.
I can't sprint. I can run. I'm an endurance. I can do endurance.
Or maybe if we found a beach with the ocean, we could find some more food there.
I'm not sure that is on way.
Is anything wrong with this grass,
It is an island.
Greg?
Gray just kind of looks down and goes, "Wait, are you trying to get? Is this an excuse to eat me?"
I'm asking you if the grass is okay.
You see those gray clumps over there?
Yeah.
That's what those of us in the goat family call bad.
Are there any good ones?
Not here.
Okay. Will you tell me if you see any good ones?
I don't know. Are you gonna eat me?
Not if I have grass to eat.
I'll look at Gray and I'll say, you just whisper in my ear if there is good foods for use.
Oh, okay.
And I'll head the way we were going.
And you continue on. The road, in fact, goes ever on. And apologies, I'm just checking a map to check distances because sometimes I don't get them right. After an hour, you come to, well, yeah. You begin to notice that the fog suddenly begins to become thicker before you on the road. Apparently, as with Andy's background, we go to red alert.
Is this past the hour of Pass Without a Trace would be active?
This is just at the end of it.
Okay.
It is 3 miles, which is about an hour of travel, I'd say, with the spearfishing.
This doesn't look good.
Do you want me to cast daylight? Or do you want to try to sneak by?
Let's try to sneak, and if we need daylight, then we can use it.
That is a plan. A most excellent plan. In which case, would everyone mind doing that thing where they roll a d20?
Just a straight D20 or
Sorry,
Or
stealth?
stealth.
All right.
Oh gosh.
Can
I'm
I
the worst.
keep that
Better.
roll?
I'm gonna let you keep that roll because it's a good roll.
I
Better.
can even add it by myself.
That's a lot better.
to
Natural
my-
20. Not me, but
It would be
somebody
a
got one.
dirty 20.
15.
Plus 10. Plus 10.
So 30-30.
Oh, 25.
Oh, dirty 30. Yeah.
It's 28.
Tithros rolled a
32.
real 20.
Oh.
21.
Nat 20.
21.
I'm very sneaky for a big man.
You are. And you begin sneaking along the road. As you do, you hear sounds. The first sound that comes to you is the sound of the water gets a little bit louder, like it's running through a higher bank or perhaps around something. Quickly, this is followed as, again, it begins to get darker, and you find yourself in that fog. You recall this fog from the north side of the walls of Ramsey, this fog that seems to weigh the limbs and weigh the mind. And then in the thickness of the fog, to make sure I'm giving you, an accurate feel for how bad it is, because it's actually listed here, and I should tell you out loud because it may be important. You can only see about 30 feet in front of your face. But as that happens, let me come over here, grab some tokens, because I like you guys and want you to be together for what's about to happen.
man.
Yes. Yes,
Make sure I'm in the right place.
Queen.
Yes. Yes, Queen. Ooh, that didn't work. That worked a lot better. Beautiful.
initiative.
Oh, you don't get to roll initiative. When death comes for you, it will come for you it will have a surprise round, which, although you are correct, technically by rules, you get to roll initiative. You hear rumbling for a moment as you finally begin to, see where where some of this noise is coming from. Oop. Let me know when you can see the map.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Can see the map. And I will paint you a word picture initially because I don't have everything grabbed for it. This bridge looms out of the distance, out of the fog, and you're like, okay, I see that. And the rumbling happens again and again. And Kirk, you're the first person to put this together. You know that sound. You're familiar with that sound. It's a sound you grew up with. It's the sound of giants' feet.
Oh.
And then there is a peal of thunder and a flash of lightning through the mist as a figure comes sprawling backwards into sight. A figure in a tattered robe with a worn staff, the head of which is adorned with holly leaves. As it raises it skyward once more, another flash of lightning happens as an enormous figure looms out of the mist, bent on, you think, bad things, clearly, for him, as one of those slew a spawn, but clearly formerly a giant in life, comes to the other end of the bridge, its weapon held high, looking to strike down this person? Possibly, well, Zal probably has a few ideas about who looks like that and might call down lightning. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into all this, we're going to take us a break.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This is all I ever wanted, Michael. Thank you.
God dang
This is
it.
all I
Awesome.
ever wanted. Fair enough.
Giant
Hey,
battle on a bridge.
Everybody
Yeah.
in the chat, don't forget, we are doing a giveaway at the end of tonight's stream. We're going to be giving away the Ultimate Encounters bundle by our friends at CZRPG. All you have to do to enter is type !drawing, and we'll draw a lucky winner at the end of the stream. So stay tuned. We'll be gone for a couple 10 minutes or so, and we'll be back to
10,
get
call it
into
12
some
even.
serious
8:30.
serious combat.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be
mean,
serious. I'm not.
Are we sure Are we sure? Because it could be one of my relatives.
That's true. We don't know yet.
Oh, if this is one of your relatives, they're still very dead
They're
and
fucked.
very big, with very big glowing red eyes.
We can tell that too, huh?
Yeah, it is quite obvious that whatever has killed and raised the men of this island has come to the giants as well.
And if we
God
believe
dang it.
that the people we stayed with, it came to the giants first.
Right. Good point.
Yeah. I
All
didn't
right,
want to
we'll
believe it.
find out in a few minutes. We'll see you then.
Come back.
Yeah.
Definitely wiggly.
Oh yeah, that's giant. That's giant fighting music.
All music is giant fighting music if you go hard enough.
Who's on the middle of the bridge? Is that Greg?
That's old Greg.
No, that's your
Bravo,
that's your
Greg!
friend, the
Zal,
druid,
come back.
as far as we know.
Yeah, that is the figure that called lightning down upon this giant.
That's what I thought. There was
Oh,
two different.
okay.
I don't know why we need to intervene then.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
because
he's got
it doesn't
this.
seem to be stopping the giant.
Mhm.
need to do it again.
Well, it's like it
Do
says
it
in the
again.
player's handbook. Roll for initiative.
Oh yeah.
Gotta
how it
turn on the
works?
initiative tracker. Where are you, initiative tracker? You're hiding right there. Then I need to clear everything. Because I didn't clear it from last time. Or
Oh yeah.
I'll have to click my character model. Can I reroll?
yep.
Ooh, yeah.
Can I reroll?
Nope.
What'd you get? Oh, I forgot to click on my character
6.
too. That's all right.
I'm last, just like last time.
I just forgot to click my
Oh,
character. So I'm
that's
just
where
gonna roll.
tokens are. I was like, well, there's
Yeah.
no token showing. Okay.
Gotta zoom out a little bit.
They're hiding in the upper corner.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I just found it.
There we go. Hey, techie woman, thanks. You can identify the 2 players you'd like to give those advantages to. Let's see, what did I get? A 16. Why am I not? You might have to add me to the. For some reason, my token is not being added. Let's see. Let me try again. Nope.
Doesn't like you.
Sure doesn't.
You're clicking the one
yeah, it
up in
did.
top left, not
You have
the-
1 and 11.
Githros.
You're good.
And
Where am I?
Orcanna.
I see you in the initiative order. How's that?
Advantage.
Okay, perfect.
And let's add a turn here for this thing and tell me, what is the initiative order of the Jolly Green Fellow? This just in. Not much. Oh, Lord. Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Ashley and Kirk, you both have advantage from Techie Woman.
Thank you,
Oh,
Techie
thank
Woman. We
you.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
are the reason.
Hero.
You are the wind beneath our wings.
That will help.
Big people power. High five.
Did you? did you manage the high five?
Kirk didn't want to do the high five.
I don't know what you're doing.
I was trying to give Orcanna a high five.
Oh, all right. So if you raise your hand to the top of the screen, Kirk, then I can. I think if I go here, we're giving each other a high five. I think.
You think?
Yep, that worked.
It worked. It worked.
Did work. You're right. Well, at least you guys are doing great. On the other hand, that giant is not. So your initiative just keeps rolling in. How do you do that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's okay. As long as it stops. Whoa. And now things are just disappearing. Dear Roll20, have you considered maybe not?
This is
Either
the
way.
built-in chaos feature.
Yeah, that's not. We don't need that sort of support at this point.
We have
In
our
our
own
life.
chaos.
The important
Dear
part is
Roll20, perhaps no.
perhaps no. Rayhan, you're gonna kick us off here, because otherwise the jokes are getting terrible. What are you gonna do about this situation?
So there's a guy on the bridge, and he struck this giant with lightning,
Correct.
and the giant seemed unfazed.
It was hit and burnt, but it seemed like it didn't do a lot of damage because it's, 16 feet tall.
Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, I guess I will. Oh,
Will make noises.
yeah. I'm gonna. Move to here. And then, what does this figure look like again?
The individual on the bridge, the smaller one.
Mhm.
They're in tattered robes, like clearly like undyed linen. They are clasping a staff that seems to have holly leaves. Actually, once you've got a little closer, growing out of the top of it, and you definitely see a white, almost Zal-esque beard protruding from beneath it.
I will call out. I will say, excuse me, old man. Perhaps fall back.
That's what I'm doing. Who the hell are you?
And I will hold. I will use a ready action should the giant cross like halfway cross onto the bridge. I will throw a psychic knife at him.
Psychic knife. Got it. Tethros. What up?
All right. So Tethro.
Oh, you're muted again.
I'm going to move forward on the bridge and take up a defensive stance and yell at the person as well. But the first thing I'm going to do when I get to the bridge is look at the water down below. Is it moving pretty quick?
It is. It is a swiftly flowing river.
All right. Then I will move to there and I'll do a ready action to hit with my warhammer,
Oakley dokley.
which I will pull out and with both hands, and it will have a glowing red rune on it.
Ooh, glowy red
Sweet.
runes. I live for the glowy red runes. At that juncture, there is... Whoa, that was the wrong button there. I did something to my screen. I'm not happy about it. Oh, I set it to split. I'm glad I'm not the one streaming. I would have just embarrassed everyone for it.
It happens.
There is a noise out in the mist, like something is there, something you just can't see, but you can almost feel. And
Do we get a sense of the direction?
behind the giant.
Mm.
That is the best you've got. And
Okay.
out of the mist come
Sense of
barreling at a running pace 3 more of the human-sized spawn that promptly run up to this figure, but just barely get to him. It's like the straight up, zombie run at it. But they almost like they just used all their movement to get there.
Some 28 days later shit.
Definitely some 28 days later ship. So that's fun.
Sure is.
Orcanna, how do you feel about
Yay.
this shit?
Okay. So, I would like to move 30 feet forward.
Okay.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I think I could get there. And then I would like to rage. And then
Nice.
I would like to take out my javelin, and I would like to throw it at the giant with advantage, please.
Are you doing it recklessly then?
No, I'm using the inspiration.
Ooh, go
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Roll to hit it.
All right. Hold on. I'm raging. I've got buttons to click. All right.
Button clicks.
All right.
In what will not shock you in any way, a 15 definitely hits the giant corpse man.
So what happens is these ghostly visages of elder orcs like rise up by my side and charge after that javelin. And once the javelin hits, they begin to kind of harass the giant so that he now can only attack me. And if he attacks anyone else, it's a disadvantage.
Nice.
And that they would get a bonus. They get you get resistance if it tries to attack you. Everybody else.
I absolutely love that ability.
That's all I can do.
Okie dokie. There's still plenty. It's good. It's beautiful. Zal, can you compare with the might of the ancestors weighing this giant down?
I don't think Zal would try to even contend with that, but I think he would still be on top of the chest that Tethros. So he's kind of riding Tethros' chest into, which is on his back. It's actually a back chest, which can be a little confusing sometimes, especially for Zal. But he's up on top of that chest, and he is going to use his bonus action to call forth his starry form, and his skin becomes translucent, and he just starts to glow this bright light as it kind of flashes out his eyes and his mouth, and he is going to use his following action. So you see, if you're looking, you see the star form of a dragon kind of draped around him and over his body, which gives him some cool mechanical bonuses to constitution saves and stuff, which is great. And as he comes into battle, he's got one hand on his companion, and he's going to fire off a couple of guiding bolts in the direction of Actually, you know what he's going to do? He's not going to do that. He's going to fire off a ice knife at the very front undead that's attacking the druid on the bridge there. So let's see. Make a ranged spell attack. I can do that. Is there any advantages to having the ancestral creatures in? Are they up near those undead?
No, they are back at the giant.
Oh, they're at the giants. They went past them. Okay. So yes, ice knife. I don't know what I rolled. Oh, a 24 to hit.
Hits.
Yeah, so this is kind of cool. Ice knife. Let me look at the way this is laid out. So, the target, which is the front one, takes the damage, which is 7 piercing damage. As it impacts that undead, it shatters and explodes, and it will hit each creature within 5 feet of it must make a dex save. So I need dex saves from the other creatures.
And the druid.
Including the druid.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the druid will get hit too.
What's your save DC again?
My save DC is a 14.
First one fails. Second one succeeds. Druid succeeds. So
Good.
Anyone that failed, did you roll for the last one? I didn't hear that one. But any of them that failed would take 8 additional.
Does it also does the explosion also target the initial target in addition to the damage already taken?
You know, it
hits
doesn't actually say, but I would interpret it as no. It hits other targets.
That was my thought as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you pass the save, no damage?
Correct.
Okay. So, ice knife, whoosh, kabloom! The dude, who's fallen back on the ground, shields his face with his holly staff, And as just splinters of ice explode out, one of the other ones just happens to be behind the guy that exploded and thus is shielded. But the other one off to one side just takes another spray of icicles to the face and torso and other vital portions of its undead anatomy.
And that is my turn. He just kind of he'll just kind of vocalize his excitement. Woohoo! And that'll be my turn.
He is very vocal about that excitement. Zeb.
Ooh, it's my turn already, huh?
It is your turn.
I'm gonna. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I just lost my VTT.
It's okay.
There we are.
While you're thinking that, are the spell descriptions links for Rayhan and Tethros populating in Roll20 weird for me, everyone else too?
I was clicking on Ice Knife.
Okay.
Yep.
I see.
Yep. Don't click on
gibberish.
Ice Knife. Don't do it.
Doesn't work. Okay, beautiful.
Okay.
I'm gonna move up
It's a secret.
to here. Okay, yeah. And I'm going to just say, all right, let's go get him. And I'm going to cast Aid on Orcanna, Rayhan, and Tethros. And you three creatures, your hit point maximum and current hit points increase by 5 for the duration. And that is 8 hours.
Ooh.
And that is not concentration. That's amazing.
I'll take that.
That's
What
my
do you ask to wave
action.
a French flag.
And I'm just going to step back here behind Rayhan and pull out my crossbow. That's
Good
like
decision.
free action. Yeah.
Let's see. At that point, the man on the bridge just, woof, and just there's his form shimmers for a second, and suddenly where he was, there is a cat, just a house cat, that promptly run. Hold, let me get to the right. There we go. Runs back over between Rayhan and Tethros. Meow.
Oh my.
So funsies.
Tethros, lunch.
It's a cat.
That is the great Ether.
You don't eat cats.
Don't eat
Where are
him.
you from, Rayhan?
They're stringy. It's no good. Don't eat them.
And with that, the giant lumbers out onto the bridge. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Just brushes past these tiny...
It triggers my ready action.
It does. Please take your ready to action.
Now that he's engaged with Orcanna, I will make it in this way. Really? That was weird.
What was
What'd
weird
you
about
roll?
it? I see a
Oh,
roll.
never mind. That was okay. Oh, I see what it is. Never mind. I see what it's.
What did you
If
get?
that hit, good. If it didn't, also
What is it?
sad but true.
12.
I rolled a 12 to hit
Okay, a 12 hits.
Yay!
for 14 psychic damage. As
Damn.
a psychic blade bridges the gap.
Do you get sneak attack by any chance on that?
Uh-huh.
Yep. That's why I said now that it is engaged, Orcanna.
As you do.
It is a sneak attack.
Oh, that rolled already?
Oh, it did.
Yep.
That was part of okay.
Yeah, I just built separate attacks for
The
sneak attacks. So I
rolls
don't have to
all looked
trigger
good
it.
to me. The question I have is, Orcanna,
Hmm.
what is your armor class?
What does that shield add to my armor class?
Do you have the shield
Oh.
out?
It's a fancy
Yes.
shield.
I did not say I did.
Well, no, it's
But,
up to you. It's just a question of I didn't know if you were using it or not.
I don't know what it works for. How much would it add
Shield add 2.
to?
How does work?
This shield is a +1 shield, so you technically add 3.
Ooh, yes, then I would have it.
You probably want to use it. To save.
Yes.
I would use
Then
it right now.
my armor class would be 17.
17. You know what the beautiful thing about the number 17 is? That's exactly what it rolled.
Beautiful
As
for you,
good.
not
Its
for her.
fist just comes down.
Oh.
You catch it on the shield, but it's still a giant fist slamming at you, and there's only so much you can do about that. Ooh, oh, that's spicy. That's 26 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh shit.
Well,
reduced because you're a raging barbarian.
Ah!
God.
Please make me a dexterity saving throw.
All right. Oh, sorry. It shouldn't be an advantage, so I guess take the first one.
You have
okay.
any advantages?
Which is a.
It would be the 5.
Oh.
All right. Slam! And then literally grabs you in both of its hands and lifts you up. You are now,
Oh no.
in the parlance of our times, grappled. You are restrained by this grapple. So you have both the grappled and the restrained.
And remember that
Okay.
you do have the 5 hit points from aid above
Yeah.
and beyond your normal, or in addition
Yeah, that increases
to
your maximum, so you can
Yeah.
get healed up to that too. So
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Cool.
you did add the 5, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I didn't to my token, but I'm doing it off my character sheet right now.
All right.
Right. And with that, it's done. We're at the top of initiative. Everyone, please take 1 point of psychic damage from being in this horrendously thick mist. And also, you are now suffering from 1 level of exhaustion each.
Oh shit.
Ouch.
For those of you playing at home, that gives you disadvantage on all ability checks. So Rayhan,
Yes.
in the wake of that information, with that crushing weight upon your mind, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Yeah. You know, they say, my people have seen best offense. Wait, best
Translating
Yeah.
into common is hard.
best defense is good offense.
It sounds
yeah.
better in the original Sewell, right?
Right, exactly. Wait, no, we don't. We murdered the Sewell.
Oh, in the original Ba something? I forget what the other group was.
Buckloonish.
Bakalun. It sounds better in
Bakalunish,
the
yeah.
in Bakalunish.
Yeah, I think that I am going to.
Rue the day.
Nope. I'm going to. How high is the the railing of this bridge?
Oh, I'd say about 3 feet.
3 feet. Cool. I'm gonna run along it and make a leap attack for the giant, trying to get as high as I can. Hiya.
Yeah. The upside is your grappled associate still counts as engaged.
Oh, I know.
So please, roll them bones.
Yeah.
Shockingly, 17 hits. I know that may seem weird, but you just leap, strike, and that blade of psychic energy sails through the flesh and explodes beneath it with now a sickly purple light because of what you're striking. And you land back down with it kind of
I would actually like to leverage my athlete feat to move to the top of the giant.
What does the athlete feat do?
The athlete feat says, in this specific instance, number one, climbing doesn't cost me extra movement. Number two, I can make a running long jump or a running high jump after moving only 5 feet rather than 10 feet. So I would like to gain an advantageous position on top of this sumbitch.
Roll me an athletics check or
With disadvantage.
acrobatics. for what you're doing.
Acrobatics.
That's right. We have
Disadvantage because I have a
exhaustion.
level of exhaustion.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't give a shit.
Nice.
So I'll go with a 20.
Yup, you're good. You scale that son of a bitch. That's which is funny because that now puts you up on head level with Orcanna, who's just in its hand as it's raising its fists back up. Your
I
eyes
will
kind of meet for a
use-
second, like,
I will use my my cunning action feature to. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want to do. I'll stab it again with a different, slightly smaller psychic blade.
with your offhand weapon.
For
Yeah, a
eight-
23
eight-
hits.
8 psychic damage.
8 psychic damage is still a lot of psychic damage, and you just shoot down through the crown of its skull. And if it had had a brain, that brain would be scrambled, but the brain's not what's animating it anymore. It still hurts, still does tissue damage. Super fun. Tethros. That giant has someone riding it too. Like you have a druid riding you. How do you feel about that?
I don't like it one bit. I don't like it
Okay.
one bit.
What are you gonna do about it?
Oh, I'm gonna.
You're muted.
Mm.
I'm gonna take 2 steps
Forward.
forward. As my second foot hits the foot of the bridge, there's going to be a rumbling as I grow to a massive, well, large size. My warhammer glowing red, swinging over my shoulder like I'm trying to hammer a tree in half. Yes, hammer, not axed. Hammer a tree in half. I'm going to hit this giant in the face.
Which you can now reach. I mean, he's still taller than you, but it ain't nearly as. It's still within your swinging distance.
Wow.
I'm gonna burn an advantage too.
It seems wise.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Oh, Games Tavern, thanks for the raid. We appreciate
Hey, Games
you.
Tavern.
Thank you, thank you.
I was watching
Oh,
you
nice.
guys earlier. I
Gotcha.
love
Hell
what
yeah.
you're doing in Eberron.
Oh man, great game.
Oh yeah.
What'd you roll?
So I rolled a 1 and an 18, so I take the 18 because I rolled with an advantage.
Wow.
Shocker. The 18 hits.
Hell yeah.
I will take.
What?
I'll let you choose the damage I choose.
We're gonna go with the big one because you're a big boy.
Okay, so I do 9 damage, plus I'm going to invoke my fire rune for an additional 2d6 damage. Plus I'm going to invoke my giant smite for an additional 1d6 damage. Plus, I'm gonna invoke my. Well, no, that's it. I'm gonna do those.
Oh no!
I'm
I'm only
gonna do those.
invoking 2 horrifying abilities.
Jesus.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna do just those two.
Keep
Rune
going.
Knights, ladies and germs.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do
Well.
an additional 14 damage. Of that damage, 8 of it is fire damage, and because I hit, the giant is restrained for 1 minute.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
By what is he restrained? Paint me
By
a
my
word
fire
picture.
rune. So as I hit it, shackles of flame erupt from his wrists, pulling him as if down to the earth, as if the demons of hell have lashed him from Hades itself, and pull his arms straight down to his waist, and he is unable to move for 1 minute.
Am I grappled
And-
still?
You are still grappled and restrained as well. So everyone's caught here in this amazing fight.
It's a
Tethros,
grapple orgy.
you do hear a cackling in your ear as if a goat were laughing. And
Oh.
both Zal and Tethros realize that
Goat.
you do that, and Gray's on your shoulder now. You don't know how that happened, but
Something like that, goat.
It gets a strength saving throw. Sorry.
oh, well,
At disadvantage. No, I don't know.
Why
I'm
does
just
it get
kidding.
disadvantage?
I'm kidding. I can't
Why
lie to
not?
you, Michael. I can't lie to you.
well, you can. I'm just not.
No,
I'm not
it's
gonna buy it.
impossible for me to do it.
Kirk, I have really bad news for you.
I've tried. Shit.
It rolled an 18 before modifiers.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, the modifiers are sizable.
Yeah.
So the shackles are broken abruptly.
Still pretty cool though, Kirk.
Very cool.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Dang.
give you I'm gonna give you it is restrained for a second, and I will give you a color bit as your turn ends once you're done with your turn. Are you done with your turn?
No, I'm gonna action surge.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All these fighter abilities are so new to me.
Yes.
And they're
I'm
also
gonna-
wonderful.
They are.
So as I see the shackles break, I will bring the warhammer around a second time, as if to hammer him into the ground.
Because you can do it more than once.
A 13 to hit.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
Woo.
Does anything else weird go off, or you just hit it one more time? I like to check.
That's it. That's
Okay,
just one more hit.
Okay. That is the end of your turn. What you realize at this point is, as the shackles bound it for a second, you still struck while it was bound, and then from the mist beyond, there was this wailing that seemed to drive it into a strengthened frenzy as it broke free. And at the edge of the mist, at the end of the board now, a figure resolves itself. And I've
What is
used the
that?
term figure
What?
Holy
loosely. It's
fuck.
like fog itself had animated with a horrific visage, like
I love this.
the damned themselves were trapped into a roiling mass that spewed this awful fog that seems to be weighing down your bodies and minds. And if everyone, and I do mean everyone,
Uh-oh.
could please roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Now,
Is this another
exhaustion doesn't make these disadvantage, right? That's an ability check.
Correct.
Okay,
Exhaustion saving throws and attack rolls are all a different type of roll.
got it.
I'm going to use one of my advantages.
Looks
Am
like
I
a
a bone
rat king of
cavalcade?
skeletons.
Yeah, why are we always fighting these like
Oh.
cavalcades of fucking skeleton bodies?
Because
Yeah,
they are
'Cause
so
that's
both
what
of our
fun.
signed up for.
campaigns.
They're fun.
Every
Wisdom.
game.
Wisdom.
God damn it. 9 for Zal.
Oh no, Zaw.
21 for Zeb.
10 for Orcanna.
Nat 20 for Tethros.
Nice.
Okay.
A non-natural 22 to equal Tethros.
Okay. You're being raised still over the head of this giant Orcanna, and you see it first, and it chills you to your very core. Zal, from your also raised positions, apparently the key to this save was not being on the back of a giant. You also see this figure just come roiling out of the mist, and both of you are frightened. The
No.
condition.
Man.
Enjoy that. Please remember you may make that save again at the end of your turns. Because I won't remember.
Okay.
So, I say this unto you. The bigger problem we now have is there are 3 other spawn that were right here. Literally beneath the feet of this giant. They come scuttling out. And because Orcanna is being held in the air and Rayhan is perched on this giant, they get to shoot right past all that bullshit. And weasel around to the
Yeah.
other side of Tethros.
Shit.
Zoom, 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 zoom. I'm going to move you over just a little bit there, Orcanna, to make this all work a little bit more. So, Tethros, what is your armor class?
A lowly 17.
A lowly 17. I think my dice is accidentally weighted. I just rolled 3 7s in a row for them.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's impressive. As these trio just come skittering out from under the frickin' giant, and they come at you, and apparently among the pieces of armor you have is a fine, sturdy cod piece and excellent greaves and leg protection, as their claws just skitter off steel and leather.
Do I get an attack of opportunity on on the one that went out of range?
I'm gonna say no because you're actually like 10 feet up in the air right now.
Fine.
I know, it's the worst. It's okay.
Glaives would be your friend.
That's especially because like you can throw them and they spin through the air and they come back to you,
Different
and then
kind
you
of
know you have to
glaive.
chase this
Different,
castle.
that's a different glaive.
Oh, it's not crawl.
It's not crawl. Sadly, it is not crawl.
Ah, well, if it was, someone would get to shoot fire from their hands, and that's always cool. So that's their turn, and they disappointed me deeply. Orcanna,
Yes.
don't disappoint me as much.
A lot of pressure.
Okay. Was just for clarification for the shield, was that an action or a bonus action?
You know what the best thing about things like that is? I certainly didn't write that down. So
Or a free action? I don't know. It's like a
I'm
verbal.
gonna say
Yes.
because I like to be a reasonable game designer and want this to be used, it is a bonus action to
Okay.
cast daylight.
Perfect. That is what I wanted to hear. I will whisper under my breath, Palisade of Zenith Sun, and hopefully cast turn on my shield.
No, you successfully turn on the shield, and it's very much a modern movie effect, as there's this low that resonates as a blinding ray of sunlight just strikes heavensward from this shield held high, and then just splays out, bathing this area in light it has not seen in months. The thing that is carrying you and fails a save, and you are dropped 10 feet to the ground and no longer restrained.
Yes.
It's not happy about that. There's no noises from the husks, but from this figure at the far edge of the bridge, there is a chorus of pain and anger, like a small, perhaps, traveling troupe of souls from hell had come down and just wailed at you. It also really doesn't like this effect.
All right.
It's like a hell barbershop quartet.
Exactly.
I am going to recklessly attack that giant. Which means I have advantage on my attack, but since I have disadvantage because I'm afraid, so I should have even attacks.
You are at even odds.
As I attack with my battle axe. That is 20. Well, actually, I rolled normally. So I can roll again if 23 does not hit, but
no, that's fine.
Hit?
You rolled once, and that's all you had to, because advantage and disadvantage cancel each other out.
Oh, that's right.
You are perfectly good.
Sorry, brain.
No, it's okay. Some of us have a hard time braining, and it's okay.
We've all been there.
One of them. And you hit, you land, crouch, and just swing up with your battle axe single-handedly, and you slice into its inner thigh in a wound that would have most likely killed it quickly, as you're sure you severed several useful arteries there, but instead of what you might expect normally, it's just a flap of skin. But it's a most palpable hit.
All right.
Anything else for you?
Nope. That's what I'm doing.
Zal.
All right. Zal's frightened from whatever that mass of undead is coming up from behind. He is going to, let's see, is he still atop?
You are atop
Okay.
Tethros.
All right.
So I will move you over into the corner of
I didn't know that.
Tethros.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Let's see here. Okay. He is going to use his... Oh, fuck. All right. He's going to look down at the undead that are below him, swarming in, and he is going to fire off a guiding bolt, and he is going to call upon his sorceress. What is it called? Sorceress Origins, I believe it's called. And he is going to twin the guiding bolt. So he's going to go ahead and fire off two of them. One at, I guess, the one that's between Tethros and Orcanna. So that one, and then the one that is next to Ithir. So the first
All
one,
right.
guiding bolt. And is this attack at disadvantage? Is that correct?
Correct, because you're frightened.
Question about that. Am I in line of sight if I'm sort of blocked by this giant?
You are not out of line of sight, or which is to say you are in line of sight.
Got it. All right, so disadvantage, attack with a guiding bolt. First level.
I thought you were having a deep thought there for a second.
It's still going to be a 21 to hit for 10 radiant to the one between myself and Orcanna. That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
And
The holy energy
one.
reeks into it, and but it is still going.
Second shot. That's only a 10 on the second one.
Good news! They're real easy to hit.
Sweet. So that's 19 radiant damage. I don't know if
That,
radiant damage makes a difference, but it is definitely radiant. This is energy from the stars.
The starlight crashes into it, destroying it as it kind of, and just that you see burning, charred ichor and flesh just coat this cat, this tabby that's like, meow.
And then so that was his action. He will then look down at the cat, and let me just double check something here. Nope. He will say, Ether, come to me! And he'll kind of like gesture for the cat to climb up. And that is my turn.
Good turn. It can't climb yet because it's not its turn, but it's thinking about it. Zebulon, my friend.
All right. Zeb is going to, let's see. I would say just move out here. And I'm going to say, keep up the good work, Orcanna. And I'm going to cast a healing word.
Oh.
1d4 plus my level. It's not a lot, but it'll... Hold
So
on,
8.
I got a button for that.
Hey, beats nothing.
Or sorry.
There it comes. There it is.
Nice.
9.
Very well
That's
done.
nice.
Thank you. I could use that.
What's
That's
the
actually
healing
the
word?
max I can roll on that.
That's great.
And I'm going to fire off a crossbow bolt at this one in between the...
At Junkie Mechanic.
Yeah. Oops. I need that. Okay, here we
This
go.
exhaustion is tough.
Oops. Without advantage. So 17.
Would be a
17.
disadvantage.
17 still hits.
Okay, for 6 piercing.
Just a
Wait, does
moment.
exhaustion doesn't affect attack rolls,
No, it
does
does not.
it? It's
Very
just ability
specifically
checks.
does not.
Yep, got it.
But frightened does, right?
Yeah, but I don't think you were frightened.
I'm not frightened.
No.
You are
thank
not.
God. Thank
Um,
God!
And you, in your shockingly skilled way for a bard, headshot. Just foop.
Nice.
It goes down, and hey, Zal and Orcanna, did you guys forget something on your turn?
Yep, and I wanted to bring that up right now. I need to make a save.
You
a wisdom
do?
save.
Okay.
Remember I said you get to make a save every turn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to be frightened anymore.
What is it? It's
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
17.
Dave, Zal, you are no longer frightened.
Oh, thank God.
Orcanna,
I rolled
You're
a
still
9.
Shit!
still not going well for you. Not great. Zeb, is there anything else you want to do?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. Tethros? This is important for you to be aware of. A cat climbs you.
Yes.
And which now means the cat scales up your giant hide and then climbs over a goat and then climbs up on Zebulon or Zal's
Zal.
shoulder, and it and only Zal can see this as its eyes kind of just spark for a second, and that thunderstorm is still up there as it calls down more thunder.
There you go, little buddy.
Because there's nothing in the rules that says you got to be in human form to use Call Lightning during its spell period.
So crawling with druids.
Yeah, Tethros is literally crawling with druids. You got an infestation there, buddy.
An infestation of druids. Ew. Are
They don't smell great, but
contagious?
they're really good for the property value.
Better than that one time Zal brought crabs home.
It is.
We
he called the
decided not to
lightning-
bring that up.
He called the lightning down on the spawn between everyone because it looked like it had not been struck, and it does. And it is struck, and it goes bzoosh, and it is pleasant. And that's, I'm going to say, why Orcanna failed her save. Lightning just went off next to you. That kind of, it's off-putting. Is that going to happen again? Yes.
Oh my.
Now we get to El Gigante Undead. I don't know how to say undead in Spanish. Un muerte?
Mm-hmm.
Gigante un muerte?
The giant of death.
Like non muerte, the giant undeath. It raises its foot high as if it was about to do a high kick, and everyone sees it coming as it begins to slam it down on the ground, and everyone but Zeb needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, at disadvantage?
Ooh, I need to start throwing out.
Nope, at
inspirations
regular,
here.
because the exhaustion is only ability checks, not saves.
It
Okay.
would be no muerto.
No muerto.
Yeah.
Gigante no muerto.
Muertos vivientes.
Aw.
What do you... Why do the dice hate you tonight? Do you know?
They're jealous.
Being on top of the giant, do I need to make this saving throw?
Yes, because it's going to shake everything as it stomps, including itself.
This is a dex save.
Is it making a
Dex
save?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
but not for the reason you think.
21 for Zal.
So all
Not
stays
bad.
up. Tethros.
It's that old man balance.
Rayhan 18. Very nice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Ooh, but you're both right. Oh, boy.
What the fuck, Tethros?
Oh,
He's like,
it's hard to
"What
stay
the
balanced with all these
got a
people
cat."
climbing me.
And the trunk.
You got a good grip. as
And
a
I
pro
should
now.
have dropped the chest.
Shit.
All right. Those of you who succeeded take 6 points of bludgeoning damage
Son of a bitch.
and are okay where you are. Those of you who failed it take 12 points of damage and are knocked prone.
Oh no.
But I get half that because I'm resistant to bludgeoning.
Yes.
Are you raging too?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I'm
Right.
Yes,
still
fuck
raging.
Yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
And I will use my giant's stone's endurance
Just,
to reduce that damage by 1d12
just
Does
calling out that-
Tethros go down though? He goes prone.
plus
He does.
con.
Okay.
just calling it out. You guys should update your tokens with your hit points.
Yeah, please do.
Oh.
So that the stream can see them.
Okay. Sorry.
And the rest of us.
healers in your party.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
very
doing pretty
valid,
good.
actually.
I'm doing pretty good. 39.
Good point, Andy.
How much did you reduce it by, Tethros?
I took 3 damage.
That's okay.
Nice. Nice.
You're still knocked prone, which means, Dave, you and Zal and Gray are now off. You have tumbled to the ground.
Can we say that because I rolled a 21 for my dex save that Zal lands on his feet?
Oh, yeah, you by definition either land on your feet or scramble fast enough that it doesn't matter.
Okay. All right, cool.
Everyone on Tethros made their save, only Tethros failed.
Okay. It's okay. Good.
And
Good
the
fella.
other important thing to go with that is there is an audible crack
Mm-mm.
and crunch from the bridge beneath your feet.
Yes.
Ew, that's not good.
Also, from Ashley, how are you doing?
Good.
Wonderful. What is
It's never good, by the way.
your armor
Yeah.
class? Still 17, right?
Uh-huh.
Beautiful.
Isn't it
Beautiful.
disadvantage to hit when someone's prone?
No,
No,
From a ranged
it's
attack,
actually
yes.
from a ranged
it's
attack.
actually the other way around.
It's the
Advantage.
And in your defense, this was a ranged attack as the thing at the edge of the bridge raises what would be called arms on a humanoid. It's more like just two pseudopods of screaming souls are raised above its head, and it casts bolts of screeching, screaming fog at you between the giant's legs. But you're prone, and they go sailing just over your head.
Ouch.
So
That's not good at all. I
good
mean, that
on
part's
you
good.
for
It
that.
been
doesn't
worse.
Sound great.
I don't want to get hit by that
I
thing.
don't like.
Hey, Rayhan, how's that going?
I mean, great. I'm
Oh, good,
just
it's your turn.
Chilling on top of this giant. um. Yeah, I'm gonna stab the fuck out of this thing.
You descend from your position.
No,
No, you're just gonna.
I'm gonna maintain my position
Oh,
on top of it.
and then what you gonna do about that while you're up there? I mean, you gonna give it a haircut?
I'm gonna give it a shave.
Aye.
Wow.
Ah.
What'd you roll,
Ooh.
Chad?
I rolled a 23 with 16 psychic damage
Nice. That's a headache.
as I teach it the techniques I have learned in my time at the Supreme Mistress of Petals Barber School.
And you go in and again just straight to the temple. If this were a thinking creature, it would have been destroyed. But it is clearly not a thinking creature. But the skin does crack open as if the strike itself had resonated within its skull. So you do damage, but it is not dead. It's undead.
I would like to use this moment to do it again.
Back, Jack, do it again.
For 7 damage
Wow.
with my
What was the roll,
slightly
Chad?
smaller blade.
What was
Apparently
the what
this
was
is
the
a
to
great-
hit roll?
The hit roll was a 20.
Nice.
I mean, you are in a beautiful position, just bam, 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 bam.
Do I
But
count as
it's-
flanking up here?
no, you
Nice.
don't.
I thought about jumping behind, but then I'd be closer to the screamy guy,
Mm-hmm.
and that doesn't sound great.
But hey, since you are in such a position you are, would you mind rolling me in a reflexive acrobatics roll just to maintain your position?
Sure.
At disadvantage.
Yeah, how about a 17?
Son of a bitch.
I mean,
That's pretty good.
hey.
Hey, but if it makes you feel any better, I forgot to announce at the beginning of your turn, everybody take an additional point of psychic damage.
Oh.
So that's my payback there.
Yeah.
But you're fine. You're in a good position. Is there anything else you want to do?
No.
No. Okay. That's it. That's fair. That's fair. Tethros, what's up?
All right. Is Orcanna still being grappled?
No.
I'm prone.
Perfect. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. So the giant's in front of me. Rayhan's on it.
Rayhan is on it.
I'm like up on his shoulders.
And you are prone.
There's one little ghoul
Yep.
guy between you and the giant too.
Yep. I'm not worried about that guy. He just kind of gnawed at my ankles. I don't care about him.
Sure.
That's true.
This big guy, I'm gonna kind of hope Rayhan makes the right decision in a second here, because I'm gonna use my movement to stand up, and I'm gonna swing. I'm gonna bring my warhammer up, and I'm gonna swing it both hands, right at the middle of like the waist level of this giant in front of me. I do want to ask one question: is the giant more than one size larger than me? I'm considered large.
It is huge. So it is exactly one size larger than you at this point.
Perfect. I'm gonna hit it in the waist with my warhammer.
All right. Rolo to Hito. I'm not going to lie to you. 14 hits.
Perfect. I'm going to move it 5 feet off the bridge.
So like that,
Precisely.
precisely like that. It's an impressive statement.
I'm
Hold on.
gonna try and hit it off the bridge is my goal. So I'm gonna hit it hard and try and send it into the water down below.
Well, it's
Yes.
real big, so I'm gonna say you definitely move it. And now, do you have a? Well, what's your strength right now? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, my strength is 19
And your proficiency bonus is +3 right now.
+2.
Oh, okay. So it has to roll a 14 or better strength save to stay on this bridge.
Okay.
Well, it's because it's still half on there by its size, but you've shifted it enough it could happen. So I'm going to give you a
Okay.
roll.
Okay.
It rolled a 6.
Oh,
Its strength bonus is a +7, which for those of you who could do math is a
13.
13.
And guess what?
It does in fact fall off into the river and fall down.
Yay!
Nicely done, sir.
The quickly
Nicely
moving river.
done.
It is quickly moving, you're right.
That was what I was told earlier. That's why I checked.
That was awesome.
That was well done. Is there anything else you're going to do with your turn, my
Nice.
friend?
If possible, if you'll let me, I don't know if I have the action economy to do it. I'll attempt to catch Rayhan if they attempt to jump off of the giant onto the bridge.
Rayhan, what are you doing about this situation?
And I guess my first question is, in what sort of body position is this giant falling?
Edge? Ooh, it is timber.
Oh, it's like fucking ass over tea kettle.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'm trying to get the fuck off of there. If it was just gonna like go boop boop, I might write it down. But yeah, if it's ass over tea kettle, I'm gonna try to get the fuck off.
Make
For
me
show.
an acrobatics check. You may roll it without disadvantage because Kirk explicitly has stated he is trying to help.
About a 14, which is beating his roll.
You leap, and your footing is bad as you leap. It is not graceful. It is more of a just, oh shit, and you are not sure you're going to make it. And then a giant hand clasps you around the wrist, and for a split second, you're worried it's the undead giant. But then, no, it's Tethros, and you are just being held for a second by Tethros's arm, and he just sets you down at the edge of the bridge.
Oh, and I could use the psychic power. I could use my psychic knack if I wanted to.
You could do that too.
But I'm not gonna. So I was successful.
Delightful. That's not how the word's spelled. Tethros, that is the end of your turn.
Yep.
The big guy, this big guy, or the small guy actually, Orcanna's down. She's on the ground. It likes advantage and is going to go for it. Which is good, it needed it. Because I assume a 20 hits.
Does.
And no, it's not going to do that. It is not going to try and grapple you.
That's far away.
Well, it's right next to you.
Oh, I
It's a
thought you
little
meant
guy.
I thought you meant the skeletal rat king thing. Okay,
No,
sure. Yeah, the little
no.
guy.
Little guy. He does 6 points of damage to you, slashing.
Okay. Sure.
Soul King.
This guy, on the other hand, ooh, bibbity bobbity hibbity hoppity.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Oh boy.
floats on a just a pillow
On a
of
prayer.
mist to right next to Rayhan.
Oof.
Fortunate.
That is deeply unfortunate. And what is your armor class?
15.
15. And a crit.
That's less.
Wowza.
That's less good.
As it forms two more of those roiling balls of screeching mist and just brings them down on you like a slam attack. The first one does
Get your balls out of face.
6 points of psychic damage.
No balls.
The second one does 23 points of psychic damage.
The second one hits.
Yes. It
What did
crit.
it- What was the first one?
The first one was a 20.
Oh, okay. Because you only said the crit earlier, so that's why I was asking.
Apologies. Yes, both hit. One crit.
How much damage was the second one?
23.
Okay, cool. Nice.
And you don't feel good. You
No.
might in fact say that your total hit point maximum has been reduced by the amount of damage you just took from both of those attacks combined.
How much is that?
What?
32, I think?
Okay. I'll write that down.
Yeah, that's fine. You can write that down. And it literally seems to, when its hands raised, the fog comes back up with us, and wisps of fog seem to come out of Rayhan as if it was absorbing something from you.
Oh, shit.
All right, and it is not going to do anything else.
Okay.
Hey, Orcanna. Oh,
Sorry, I want to invoke my the stone rune that I wear on my breastplate.
okay.
When a creature you can see ends its turn within 30 feet of you, I can use my reaction to invoke the rune and force the creature to make a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it is charmed for 1 minute, and it is in a dreamy stupor.
I got real bad news for you.
I was afraid that was what you were gonna say.
You
But-
you try to invoke this, and several of the heads that are in its being just stare at you and laugh in a harrowing way that sets your teeth on edge,
That
because
was
they are immune to being charmed.
That was my worry.
But hey, now you know, and I'm told knowing is half the battle.
Yep.
Orcanna,
Yes.
not great down there.
No, I am going to stand up. And do I do my attempt to break out of fear before or after my turn?
End of your turn.
End of my turn. Okay, so I'm still afraid of that thing.
Yeah,
So I can't move
with
towards
good
it.
reason. This Rat King is mean.
Okay. Then I... Okay, I'm just gonna take a wail at this weird, creepy thing over here. Okay, does 25 hit?
25 definitely hits.
Yeah, it does.
And that's how many points of damage?
That hits a
Uh,
lot of things.
10? 2 rage, 8 slashing?
Yep, that's correct.
Nice.
Okay.
Let me check something here. Do. Ooh. Your axe comes cleaving down. You literally cut it in half to the hip.
Nice.
And it just kind of swivels, looks at you, and keeps coming.
Ugh.
What else would you like to do?
I would like to just swivel around and move over here. Just
Get
like
you-
a 5-foot step.
Get you some support. That's fair. Zal,
All right, so
it's different seeing the world from the ground.
Yeah, it's a whole different story.
whole new
Zal
world.
is going to use his free action to interact with an object. I'm sorry, that's
Yep.
not right, but he's going to scoop up the cat and kind of put it up on his shoulder and give it a scratch. And then he's going to step out from behind his companion where he can get a good view of this abomination. What is this thing? Describe to me for what I'm seeing here.
The thing that's
big
come
one.
up the bridge.
Yeah.
It is a roiling mass that is only vaguely humanoid, and it looks like it is literally full of distended and distorted skulls and figures that roil around. And it is spewing mist. You realize here, without a doubt, these are the things. This is what is bringing this mist and spewing it into this island. This is one of the things causing it. You are beyond a shadow of a doubt certain of that.
He shouts out at it as he raises his one free hand and he says, "You are an abomination to the natural cycle of this island." And he's going to use his sorcery twinning to fire 2 guiding bolts at it.
Is that radiant?
It is. So the first one, and he's not frightened anymore, so it's not at disadvantage. Thank everybody for that.
Speaking of which.
And I do have second level spell slots, so they're both going to be at second level. First one. 22 to hit. For
that'll hit.
13 radiant. And the second one, let's just double check to make sure I have the spell slots. I do. That'll be the last of my second level spell slots, but that's okay. Guiding bolt. Second level. Ooh, that's not probably gonna hit with a 9.
A 9 does not hit.
That would have been a lot of damage too. Oh shit!
It would be, but that one bolt still slams into it and just impacts and leaves a crater for a second in the sword as the guiding bolt, which we've been forgetting about, that extra rule with guiding bolt, illuminates and spews light forth, perhaps giving the next person to hit it advantage. I believe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And it screeches in a chorus and goes in a voice that comes out of many mouths and in many timbres and octaves, and says, "We will have your soul."
Whoa.
Shit, that's terrifying. Let's see. That was my action. A little bit of movement.
No.
And let me just double check something here. Yep. He is going to... He's going to attempt to pull back another 5-10 feet.
But by the way, does 11 wisdom save break me out of that frightened?
I'm sorry.
No, it's great.
No.
It's not great.
No.
It does not.
I forgot to roll. It hates me. The VTT is so
The
mean.
VTT seems to have it out for you tonight. I'm sorry. I blame Zeb. Zeb, can you do anything about what's going on here? This
I could, but I'm really worried about Rayhan.
That makes 2 of us.
It's my
3.
turn.
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna jump out. No, Rayhan, look out! I'm gonna move over here,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna cast Healing Word, and I'm gonna do that at 2nd level. Got a button for that.
But what are her maximums have been?
Oh, yeah.
So
Let's put it this way. That guy did a lot of damage, but then he mathematically did me a favor by only making me be at 75% health. He like upped my health percentage.
Really, he's just trying to help everyone out here.
Right. I'm at 8 of 12.
8 of 12.
yeah, so
Okay. I'm
you
gonna
can
cast
only
that at 1st level. Get you up to a full 12. Well, Zeb wouldn't know that, but I'm gonna.
That's fine. You can game like that.
So that should just be 1d4 plus 5, which was a total of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I rolled 2 dice, but anyways, that's my bonus action. For my heroic action, I'm gonna pull out my crossbow, and I'm gonna say, nothing because I don't have it queued up. Okay, here it goes. I'm gonna shoot the big guy.
Bow.
May I provide you a line that's a little bit more cowboy than southern?
Sure.
Fill your hands, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Shit.
Oh, fuck.
You gonna skin that smoke wagon?
This is how the dice kill a party.
That's a 9
That is a 9.
to hit, and it misses.
You got anything else there, Brody?
Nope.
Okay. Once more, the druid calls down the thunder. The cat druid somehow calls down the lightning
Mm-hmm.
and barely touches this one other standing fuck who did a whole 3 points of damage to it on 3d6. This is the worst druid ever. As it just kind of yowls in anger right in Zal's ear.
It's okay. He just scratches
He
him.
missed.
He missed. Well, he did really minimal damage, like 3
Oh.
points. At which point, from out of the river, rising like a goddamn nightmare,
Oh,
the
fuck.
giant just stands up.
Oh shit!
It's
It's not
16
that
feet
deep.
tall, so it can reach over the bridge.
Oh,
oh god.
oh, Rayhan. It was nice knowing you.
He's angry at the thing that created it. This
He joins our side.
this stage
Right.
cavalcation.
Let me ask you. No, I don't have to ask the question right now. What's your armor class, Rayhan? I do have to ask that one.
15.
15. So, a 23 hits.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit.
Shit.
Not good, guys. We should have brought in a cleric.
20 points of damage to you
I'm
as
dead
the
outright.
Hold on.
I'm dead outright.
20 points of damage
Yep, that's dead outright.
as the fist slam into you and the bridge beneath you.
Also
As
cool.
that section of the bridge gives way.
Oh no.
Wouldn't it have to be
And-
a 24? Sorry.
The bridge gives way, and for a moment, Rayhan's body is lost as it rumbles and tumbles into the river. Rayhan, you are still conscious for this as it happens. And as it's happening, there's a moment where everything slows for a second. And you're falling backwards towards the water. And you feel a weight on your chest, and you look up. There's a goat standing on your chest. And the goat says to you in a voice that is suddenly not a goat voice, even the talking goat's voice, something that resonates strangely and deeply, but is somehow familiar. And it goes, I can help you. Do you want my help? You can respond.
Describe familiar.
You've heard it somewhere, but you don't know where.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
You continue to fall in slow motion. The goat just says, apologize to me.
I'm sorry, goat, but you would have made a good kebab.
The goat begins laughing, and now an awful demonic laughter fills everyone's ears as a spire of hellfire shoots up from the ruins of this bridge. And for a split second, you see the form of that towering crab demon you killed stand with Rayhan in one claw, who's just promptly set down. Thank you. And in a flash, it disappears. You are at full health, and you no longer have your hit point maximum reduced.
Oh.
Do we see the crab hand?
You saw
place-
that happen.
Oh,
Yes.
shit!
No!
What the
my
fuck was
food!
that?
You're right.
What the hell?
Tethros is now diminished because all of that food disappeared from his belly.
Wow.
If these undead could react, they might have one, but they are stoic and uncertain of what just occurred. Rayhan, it is your turn.
The river's full of helpful crabs.
All right. So I am literally between a rock and a hard place.
Get out of there.
Yes.
Where did it set me down? If you could place me where it set me down.
Right there.
All right. Perfect. Oh, man, really? Wait, cool.
Look, don't look a crab demon in the cloaca.
Oh.
That works.
Sounds dirty.
It is dirty.
All
Yeah.
that food.
I will attack this undead dude, whatever, this little shambler.
The little guy?
Shambling shade
Attack the little guy.
with advantage thanks to
Tethros.
of Griff. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So 22 to hit, 17 psychic damage.
Your hand comes down and just nails again straight in the forehead with your blade, and it's just that explosion of purple light for a minute and falls. But as it falls, that's not what you're paying attention to. What you're paying attention to is your right hand as it comes down that's grasping this blade you formed is not your hand. It is now a claw. Like that of a crab.
Crab claw.
You now have a crab
Nice.
claw for a hand.
Crab.
Wow.
They call me Crab Shankar.
But it is gone.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. I am going to ow, don't bite me. Disengage.
You can do that.
Yep, as a bonus action and move here.
You flank the roiling mist of demon dew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No. Like,
Okay.
is it like what claw is it? Is it like the big crab claw or like the little?
Oh, it's the
little
big
crab
one.
claw?
It's a little misshapen, little oversized. You may have consequences down the line if you try to do anything involving fine dexterity with your right hand.
Sweet.
Can you still do a second stab with your soul knife with it?
I could, but I use my bonus action to.
Well, no, I
disengage.
mean, is it possible with a crab hand?
No,
Yep.
the crab hand
I
does
use
not
my
give you
other
more
hand.
power.
No, but it's just a normal. I can do as the second hand attack is with my offhand.
Just a normal crab
Yeah.
hand. Attack.
It's a normal crab hand. It's not like a magic crab hand. Come on.
Well, but the soul knife is magic, so maybe you can like magically soul knife a. I don't,
It's a really good thing. He's a soul knife, is all I'm gonna say. Tethros, that all fucking happened. What's worse is this, floating thing. Like, there is a swath of 5 feet missing in this bridge. It doesn't care. It's just hovering over it like. It's very angry now, too, because it was going to eat her soul. It was going to be delicious.
Yeah. Tethros doesn't care. He's pissed. He doesn't like seeing his friends get hurt. He's going to run forward, jump, and attempt to grapple this thing.
I'm just going to let you know right now that seems like a really bad idea because it's
I'm
made
not
of
going to do
roiling
that. I'm totally
fog.
kidding. I was testing you.
Shockingly, there's a list of immunities
Wow.
to conditions here, and that's on there.
That was an easy test.
Testing you and you
Yeah.
passed.
Yep, you passed. Roiling fog monster. Well, shit. I got a hammer. Last time I checked,
Everything looks like a nail.
not great against air. But I'm gonna swing it.
Is it a
like
magic hammer?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. That's fine.
My
Zal looks
rune's
on
off it.
approvingly and just shouts, "It's hammer time!"
Go for it, mi amigo.
Can't touch this fucking fog monster. And I'm gonna hit it with.
Hey, Hammer, please hurt him.
Exactly.
Oh, you're muted.
How dare you?
Oops! I gotta make sure I don't click out. 10 damage. 18
I do the same thing.
to
It's
hit.
okay. Your hammer connects, but it connects less solidly than you would say, almost as if it was only doing half damage.
A little tear will go down Tethros's right eye
Yeah.
as he ponders his existence and his soon-to-be bridge-side grave.
Not great.
No.
Not great at all. Anything else you gonna do?
I'm out of fancy stuff.
Fair enough.
ugh.
Sad.
This thing, you feel for a second its gaze is on you, Zal. And then several other heads look at Rayhan, who's suddenly standing there, and it just kind of goes, and an explosion of fog occurs, and it just vanishes into the day, or into the fog. It is no longer there.
What?
Okay.
Oh,
Is that good?
Well, it's one
No.
less thing to fight.
Looks
She's
like
in
the
a
battle
coward's
is over then.
Well, there's still this giant.
Oh shit!
Orcanna, what are you gonna do about this giant?
I'm
God of War.
gonna throw a javelin at it.
Fuck
You
yeah!
can get up
are.
to it. It is
Oh,
it
can
is
I?
walked up to the bridge now
Oh,
because it needs to be able
Then-
to reach you.
well, since that thing is gone, I'm no longer frightened, right?
Correct.
Well, that's nice.
That thing sucks.
All right. Then I am going to take 5-foot step back and then run at it using my charger to
Ah,
dash to get a extra 5 damage to attacking it with my battle axe. Does 15 hit?
15 definitely hits.
Okay. So then I do 13 points of damage.
You bring your axe just up and down. Does Charger give you extra damage?
Mhm.
Oh, it's already in there. You're right. You factored it. And just come down and you run down its chest and open it up. And again, were it anything living, it would not be anymore. But it's, yeah.
Stay dead!
Anything else?
That is all I can do.
Zal.
Well, Zal is gonna scratch the cat's head a little bit and give him bardic inspiration,
Oh, he's happy about that.
and then Zal's not a bard. And then Zal is going to. Unfortunately, he's out of his sorcery points. He's not a sorcerer either, but he is going to cast a first level guiding bolt at the giant who's standing in the water.
Rolo to Hito.
By the way, I should probably move closer. There we go.
Wouldn't hurt you none.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a first level roll. 15 to hit for 17 radiant damage.
Ooh.
And
Zal.
Yeah.
How would you like to do this?
So Zal kind of like he's scratching Ether. He's scratching the cat's head, and he just kind of glances over and sees Orcanna wailing away at the giant, doing massive amounts of damage, and he just sort of does this very surgical point, and he fires off this guiding bolt that flies just past Orcanna, just sort of missing her. And it sort of almost looks as if Orcanna lands the killing blow as she swings, and it erupts in this bright, like almost like a nova starburst. And then it just sort of turns the giant into ash.
And the ash just falls slowly into the river beneath. And there's nothing left. And it is silent again for a moment before the cat leaps off your shoulder. Mid-air just changes back to this, robed person who looks around and goes, "Who are you people?" And that is where we will end it for tonight.
Oh my!
We survived
God.
another day.
Barely.
Don't breathe that ash.
Actually, it's just the morning. This is just the morning.
This
There's
is
still more
just
days.
the morning.
Yeah, this is just brunch. This is our
Oh,
brunch time.
This is brunch.
Oh,
That's right.
man.
So
Wow.
say hi to the Sluwa. They're fun.
Crab hands. Not to be
Crab
confused with
hands.
jazz hands. Do
Uh-huh.
crab
Yeah,
hands
crab
and
hands.
jazz hands at the same time. It's not easy.
Your characters will notice immediately that Gray is not around anymore once it settles down.
I knew it.
Gray!
Did you
Something
eat
off
the
Gray
about
is
goat?
safe. Come out.
There was something off about him.
He was a demon, crab demon.
Orcanna,
No.
I told you he was food.
Rayhan, what
I
Did you
happened?
told
eat
you.
my goats during
I-
battle?
I did not eat him. I should have eaten him, though. I should have eaten him 10 times. I could have gotten a week's worth of
voice
food out of this
In your
cross.
head, Tethros may point out, you idiot. You ate me, and that's why I was still here.
Oh,
It was just a,
That
it was
is
just
indigestion at its worst.
I
Yeah.
wanted more.
If you had consulted, or in the future consult the demonologist, because that would be beyond the scope of this game. It might point out that, yeah, by eating the flesh of a demon thing, you bound part of his essence to you, and it probably wanted to get the fuck away from y'all.
Wait.
Well, here's the deal.
I didn't agree to anything.
Tethros,
You have
who are
to
you
stay
talking
and
to?
be my best friend forever.
No, the nice
Best
lady
friends
said I
are
could
never
go. She
forever.
apologized.
This
Look, I
has been
fed
more
you.
nervous.
That's all it wanted. The demon just wanted
Wait.
an apology for being murdered by you people.
We cuddled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, you
this has
did.
me more
What does that
nervous than a
say?
long
What does that
field
say
cab.
about
What does that say
Orcanna's
about-
decisions?
Yeah,
Oh gosh, ladies and
knows how
gentlemen,
to pick them.
boys and girls, Twitch streamers of all ages,
Yeah.
thank you for being here for this this occurrence.
That was super
That
fun.
was a thing.
That was fun.
Cheers to you all for getting
Good.
through that.
Cheers.
Pray to Crom for
Mhm.
the next day. You're gonna need it.
Oh my God. Well,
Ugh.
thank you, Michael, and you guys are awesome. We do have some business to attend to here. We've got a giveaway to conduct. If you want to get in on the possibility of winning, why not? Just type !drawing into the chat. Let me tell you about this thing. This is the Ultimate Encounters bundle by our stream sponsor, our Wednesday night campaign sponsor, CZRPG Publishing. Christian and company, thank you so much for being supporters of what we do here, and we want to support you in as many ways as we can. They have a Kickstarter going on that is the Amazing Encounters Kickstarter, which has been funded, and you got to get in on the action because it's pretty epic. I'm gonna drop a link, czrpg.kick.
And
Go
one
check
thing
that
I
out.
will add, the assets you're seeing tonight, the map, all the undead, unfortunately not the giant. I got that from elsewhere, but everything else is by CZRPG. So this, you're literally looking
Yeah,
at
they're
what
very
they do
thorough,
right now.
Like the products they put out have all the things you need to, or your DM needs. So maybe you're a player and you want to get your DM something nice. You might be able to win it tonight with this giveaway. Anyways, let me just tell you real quick. There's 11 products in here. Deeper Descent into Avernus. Avernus? Encounters in Barovia. Encounters in Candledeep. Encounters in Castle Ravenloft. Encounters in Chult. Encounters in Icewind Dale. Encounters in Ravenloft. Encounters in Saltmarsh. Encounters in the Feywild. Encounters with the Dark Powers. And the Queen's Horde Expanded. This is massive. 170 different encounters. I don't know. I would like to have this. I might enter. All you have to do to enter is type question mark, no,
Oh, I definitely
exclamation
enter.
mark drawing. And we're going to go ahead and give that away right now. So get in on the action if you're here. Ashley, please, as is tradition here on our stream, give us the 5-second countdown.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Here we go. I'm so giddy. Red Fox
Heck yeah,
Gaming has
Silver.
won the giveaway. Congratulations, Silver.
Nice.
Thanks for being here. I will
Enjoy the heck out of
message
those.
you. I will need to get your email address, and I'll send it to Christian, and they'll send you the links that you can download this massive bundle. You guys, this is crazy. It's if you were gonna buy this on the DMs Guild, almost $88.
Wow.
It's
to get
absolutely
this.
worth every penny.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, go check out CZRPG on the DMs Guild. Here's the link. They're awesome. They're great. Nope, CZPRG. I have had a couple beers. CZRPG. There we go.
That's okay.
Better.
I'm most of the way through all this sake, so
Michael, thank you so much for almost killing Rayhan.
For
That was
giving
great.
us a
No,
cup.
I killed Rayhan. I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But you gave
But-
Rayhan a way back, which is
Mhm.
a beautiful thing.
I think it's
Yes,
going to be
now
way
I
more
am.
entertaining in the long run.
I think
And
so
now
too.
I am. Now you will refer to me as Crayon.
That's great.
We're here
Hey.
all night, folks. Try the veal.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and
Enjoy the
raid.
buffet.
We're gonna raid Stella Luna's channel. So please, when you join us for the raid, first of all, secondly, when we get into Stella Luna's channel, hit Stella Luna with a bunch of our emotes. Let them know that we're here and that we support what she's doing. She's an amazing dungeon master. She's got a lot of great streams going on. Let's give her some love, please, everybody. Join us. Let's do this. I think that's how it's
Hooray.
done. Let's double check here.
I-
Let me see here. There we go. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
The Isle of
We're
Endless
off
Thoughts.
tomorrow. We're off next week, but
night.
we'll be back on December 2nd?
Yeah,
First?
something like that.
First?
Oh,
First,
man, that's
December
so
1st.
long.
December
December
1st.
1st, yep.
I know.
Gotta live with the anticipation of what the claw hand's gonna do.
Yep. All right, everybody. Let's raid. Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you. Bye.